everybody, welcome back to another episode of Debt Collection 101 here on Arbeit.
Not just another episode, right? We have a guest today,
I
right?
think this is our first in-house guest.
Is it?
Yeah.
Wow, look
Got a
at
first
that.
timer over
here. There we go.
Yes. We're joined today by Vincent Raphael of
Advanced Capital Solutions.
Director of Compliance at Advanced Capital Solutions.
Well, thank you for having me, guys.
Perfect.
No
So let's
problem.
start
Thanks
with tell us a little about yourself to the folks at home.
So I've been in compliance for about 8 years. I did start off in collections. I was a collector for a long time before I was asked to do compliance.
Oh wow.
And now I've been with Advanced Capital Solutions just over 5 years.
How did you transition in from as a collector to compliance?
So I never thought about myself as a compliance person per se. The owners of a large agency that I used to work at actually approached me and said, you know what, we really like your approach with people on the phone. We think that you would be a good fit in a kind of a new version. They had compliance set up already, but they were kind of expanding to a larger compliance feel at the office, and I was the first person to ask. So
That's awesome.
I guess I just naturally had that just cool, calm kind of way with people on the phone. And I've always come from a sales background approach to collections. So I never got complaints. I never had any issues with debtors on the phone. So I think all those kind of factored in, and then I got my foot in the door with compliance.
Yeah, awesome. And what's like your day-to-day like?
So obviously my first job is going to be handling complaints. And when somebody gets upset on the phone, you need a fire extinguisher. You got to put that fire out. So I'm always going to be that first line of defense. And I train my managers to kind of be junior fire chiefs per se. They're kind of assistant compliance guys. So if I'm not there, if there's something that I can't get immediately on the phone to. I want my management to be also that first line of defense and just put those fires out, handle those complaints, keep people from wanting to complain any further if there is an issue with one of my collectors. I also handle all state regulatory licensing, registrations on the state level. I wear a lot of hats at the office, so I take compliance calls or client calls when people are calling in just to track down debt and stuff like that. So I would say I'm pretty busy.
Yeah.
I get a lot
busier
going
than
on.
me. I don't do much.
Yes.
So I guess my question would be how important would you say the role of a director of compliance is for an agency, no matter like what the size is?
I think it's absolutely necessary
because
you want to make sure that you have somebody, because as great as your collectors might be on the phone and as professional as they might be, you're always going to have somebody that just isn't gelling, because it's not always an easy sell to, hey, it's time to pay your bill today. Not everybody's going to be happy about doing so. So I think you always want to have that buffer, that person that's there to get on a call, calm down somebody if they're getting a little, hot under the collar, so to speak. So as perfect as your collectors might be, I feel like there's always going to be that need. And of course, with changing regulations and state, every state's got its own set of rules and stuff. You need to have somebody kind of keeping an eye and the finger on the pulse of the industry per se.
That leads me exactly.
Here we go.
Next question.
You hit. I
was going to say. So I mean, obviously it's compliance changes probably every day. There's always new case law coming out saying what language you cannot use and everything like that. So how are you keeping up to that? What are advice you give to other compliance guys on?
I have a small group of people, including our attorney that we use, that we're just always kind of staying in communication with what's going on. I probably look at 3 different news outlets every day just to read what's coming through, what stories are out there, what changes are being made in the industry. And then of course you have you have your the DBA, and it's now RMA and ACA. They have a lot of functions, stuff like that you can, if you can't make it to one of those seminars or you can't get out to Vegas every year, there's definitely just a plethora of information out there that you can access, tap into, and then pass that on to your collectors.
Way to promote that. Thank you.
Yeah.
ACA is going to love that. So, thanks. Let me ask this: what's like your biggest concern with compliance coming down the pipeline?
I think messages are probably your biggest thing right now, because there's kind of catch-22 with what you can leave on a voicemail, what you can't, when they're actually going to finally put it down in law per se to make it clear of what you can and cannot say. So I'm interested to see how that's going to change and what you can actually allow your collectors to leave on voicemails and say on the phone. But there's so much technology rolling out now. I mean, they're talking about texting and all this stuff with people. So it's interesting to see what's going to change, and you want to try to play it as safe as possible, especially when you have different laws in every state that you're working out of.
Yeah. Is there any regulations coming up or any like proposed changes that you're really excited about?
No, I don't really think there's anything that's exciting per se about compliance.
Or that you're like really,
Compliance, so exciting.
So exciting.
Yeah.
But I think it's just kind of seeing as the technology is changing, how they're going to respond to newer and newer technologies. I've always thought that there's going to come a day where you just did video chatting, and you're going to be able to read people.
That would be
way.
Great.
Wouldn't that be awesome?
Yeah, makes my life
a
easier.
face for video, right?
Yeah, face for radio.
Yeah. That's what I meant to do. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. So what would be your tip to someone who let's say might not have a compliance director or might own an agency and might be doing compliance themselves?
To me, it feels like compliance is really easy. The first thing I train people to do is be professional at all times. If you can be professional, that's also going to bring a level of patience with people, and you can really just write your own story when it comes to being compliant. Just to be professional, because people are always going to respect that level of professionalism, and they're going to take you even more seriously as the job that you're doing. And if somebody's upset, it's hard to have a one-sided fight.
Yeah.
So even if the consumer is calling in and they're just super fired up, if you're staying professional and calm on the phone, they're going to eventually just say, well, okay, I don't mean to take it out on you, or and 99% of the time they're going to calm down if they hear a very cool, calm, and collective voice. So professionalism is the first thing I teach, and I think it's the most important tip to being compliant.
Vinny's tip of the day. We're going to start doing that.
So
professionalism.
go ahead. Yeah, I was going to say, so we've been doing surveys recently for clients, and a big challenge clients constantly are bringing up is staffing. Is there like is there something that I don't know if you're doing the hiring or if someone else there is, but is there something that you're really looking for in an experienced collector or a new collector, a certain soft skill, a certain skill in general, a state of mind that's like, yes, they are good?
That's a good person.
I'm not at the forefront of the hiring decision, but I definitely add my 2 cents. I think having just a good, strong sales skill. Because if you're a salesman, you can sell anything. So it's the same thing with collections. If you're a good collector, you should be able to collect on anything. But being a good salesman, I think it enables you to say, what do I have to do to make this sale? What hat do I have to wear? How do I mirror that person that I'm talking to? So being versatile in any sales background is always really, really good and correlating over to collections.
Yeah, so salespeople are the best.
Absolutely.
Yeah, okay.
I would love a room of like car salesmen, because that's a tough sell.
Yeah.
If you could sell cars, I'm sure I could train you to get people to sell pay their bills.
It is a sale. Yeah, absolutely. How do I get you to wear those sunglasses for the end of this interview?
Listen, I feel like the yellow complements the blue well. I'll have to ask the ladies in the room.
It absolutely does. I think that's all the questions you got, right? You got anything else?
I think I'm good.
Cool.
That was great information. I mean, compliance obviously is
it's the key. It's important.
Yeah, well, I always take the approach with compliance. Like, I don't want to be the bad guy. I don't want to come in and ruin your day. I want to teach you hey, let's do this a better way. Let's find a better technique, find a better way to calm somebody down, and just don't let your emotions take over a phone call. Because that's a lot of what happens. I think collectors let pride get in the way, let their emotions, and it's understandable. It's human nature. We're emotional creatures. So if somebody's calling in and they're throwing a bunch of hot stuff at you, and they're yelling and they're screaming, it's tough to be able to just kind of cool the jets on that and tell people to pump the brakes without offending them at the same time. So in that respect, it takes a little bit of a soft hand. You have to really know what you're doing. But again, the first tip of that is just stay professional. If you stay professional, you can usually get anything you want.
You can get anything you want as long as you're nice.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I just thought of this. We've been to your office, obviously.
Yeah.
Your office is literally right next to the sale or the
kind of overlook. It wasn't always that way, but I love how it's just kind of overlooking the floor.
So you're literally within ear distance.
My presence is always known.
Yeah, and you come out, you do the laps.
Sure.
Would you? I mean, we did an episode on that, like management by like walking around, and one of the things references like compliance officers getting out, walking on the floor. So would you recommend that to the people?
Absolutely. And you got to be a positive influence. Whether you're a manager, whether you're a compliance guy, if you're walking around, you just have a really positive attitude. Everybody's going to feed off of that, because this is not always a positive positive feel.
I've been to your office and they definitely feel
This can
that.
definitely be a negative, in the wrong office, it can be a really negative job. So you have to kind of turn that around, be positive. And if you're bringing that as one of the bosses in the office, I think people will respond greatly to that.
Cool. Well, as always, that's pretty much it. Subscribe, comment with any questions you have. We'll start doing Vinny's compliance tip of the week.
Sure.
There we go.
That out there, emailing it out there. And then, as always, we'll see you next week.
Yeah, thanks so much for being on.
Oh,
Thanks for having me.
Way to thanks them. Yeah, way to
Yeah.
thank the folks. Thank you.
Oh,
Thank you.
for watching.
We appreciate your
Thank
vote.
you. See you next week.
See ya.